Name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty.
Well, of course it is, George, and good evening to you, and good evening to all of you, and the warmest of welcomes to Wednesday Night Live with me, Boaty, and I'm gonna be coming into your eyes and your ears virtually non-stop over the next 58 minutes. Yes, I'm going to take you right up to the witching hours, my darlings. I'm going to save you the trouble of watching nonsense on television or abusing yourself and running the risk of going blind or talking to your husband or wife. Instead, you can sit and watch me and listen to me talk, drivel and wave my arms about in unusual ways. So, how are you all? How has your day been? Please, I would like to hear all about it. Has it been a good day? Has it been a bad day? Has it been an indifferent day? What's the best thing that happened to you today? And I desperately want to know, I insist on knowing, what did you have for dinner or tea or supper? You know, your evening meal, your repast. And speaking of which, I've got something to show you. I haven't had one of these for years. I thought I deserved a treat, so I shoplifted this from Sainsbury's earlier on. A frayed bent-off steak and gravy pie, and I shall save that for a special occasion. Now, it gives me a great feeling of warmth and security, knowing that I've got an emergency pie in the cupboard. It lives in the cupboard there on the most southeasterly point of cupboard number, oh God, I haven't actually numbered my cupboards and now I've kind of committed myself to doing it. Oh, which would cupboard number 1 be? I think that'd be cupboard number 1. Yeah. Right, so it's in the southeastern corner of cupboard number 2. And I'm going to call these 3, 4, 5, 6, oh God, and then there's the, well, I wish I'd never started that, quite honestly. So, 2 features. Have you ever numbered your cupboards? And what gives you a feeling of warmth and security? And it can't be a person or a living creature, it can't be an animal, and it can't be money as in cash or a bank balance or anything like that. What thing gives you a feeling of warmth and security like what I get from having my emergency tinned pie in the southeastern tip of cupboard number 2. What else? What other feature can we think of? How many slots has your toaster got? Have you got a 4-slot toaster or just a 2-slot toaster? There we are. That's enough to be going on with. Now, who have I got? Barry is here, says, evening everyone. Hope you all had a good day. That's nice. Jimmy Quinn is here. Good evening, Boaty. Good evening to you, Jimmy. The lovely Sophie. Hi, everyone. Hope you all had a good day. And hello, Boaty. Well, hello to you, Sophie. How are you and how's your day been? Well, it's kind of you to ask. And my day has been okay, actually. What have I done? Well, I got up. There's a start. Oh, yeah. I had 2 daily diaries to do, didn't I? And one of them was quite long, so I've spent a lot of my day sitting, looking at this and fiddling about with it. Other than that, I went to the post office and sent off some gloves. And I did that in Wetleg from Tittybiscuits. And then I had lunch, which was enormously disappointing. Incredibly disappointing. The most disappointing lunch that I've had for quite a long time. But hey ho, supper is going to make up for it. I have got a good supper and I'm going to have a jolly good lunch tomorrow. I'm not having 2 bad lunches on the run. No, not me. Not me. Not me. I don't even want to have 2 bad lunches in a year. I mean, lunch is such an important thing, isn't it? Now, because I eat very late because of my work and my lifestyle and whatever, and I've always eaten very late. And people say, how can you do it? But you kind of get into the habit of it. Like when I was a singist and I'm getting home at 5 o'clock in the morning, I could never have a full stomach when I went on stage. So when I get home at 5 o'clock and I haven't eaten for probably 16 hours, what am I going to do? Go hungry? Am I balls? I'm going to have a Mr. Dave's Boaty. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't care if it is 5 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, no matter how late it is now, I will and do always eat. And why was I telling you that? God, I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I remember now. The importance of lunch. So, in some ways, for me, the evening meal is more about eating than about an occasion. Although, sorry darlings, that might happen tonight. There's a lot of weather about out there in the Peak District tonight. It's incredibly windy. And when it's incredibly windy, my interweb tends to go on the wonk. I mean, what I was trying to tell you in a very long-winded way is that the evening meal is kind of more about just eating and sating hunger. Whereas lunch, I like to make lunch a bit of an occasion. And therefore, when I have a disappointing lunch, and today's lunch was disappointing, it really is a very severe disappointment. You know, it's the kind of thing that if I were a lesser man, could knock me back for a period of, 7 or 8 years, where I just lost all faith in myself and in the universe in general, and in anything that you care to name, really. I could even lose faith in Marks and Spencer's, and in particular their underwear, because Marks and Spencer's, from what I remember, do make excellent underwear. And you've got to love a lady who wears Marks and Spencer's bloomers, haven't you? I haven't personally had Marks and Spencer's underwear for some while, not since I was taken poor, and since I had the great good fortune to be taken single, so I never have to go into town or shopping centres or anything like that anymore, or very, very seldom anyway. Whereas when I was a married person, or an engaged person, or a partnered up person, and a step parent, I used to have to do those things, and I did them with good grace. But you know, I did hate them. I'd much rather not do them. But there you are. I mean, that's what life is, isn't it? It's about making sacrifices for other people, and then not making sacrifices for other people when you're not in that situation. And where you're in the happy situation where you can do whatever the sodding hell you want. Happy days. Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Evening all, says Cheeseburger. Good evening to you. Skick has got a question. What do you think of Lawrence Fox being arrested? Not much, Skick, not much. Largely because I don't know who Lawrence Fox is. However, I do listen to the news, and as I understand it, he has been arrested on suspicion of damaging some sort of official camera in London, I think. And whilst I don't know who he is, if he has purposely and with malice aforethought damaged an official camera, then he is a yob and a criminal, and he should have the full force of the law thrown at him. He should be arrested, he should be beaten up in the cell, and then he should be sent to prison. So there you go, that's what I think. I wonder who he is. What's occurring now in a minute, Reverend Boaty? Asked Pingu, and well, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing this, and then I'm going to have some supper, and I really need to have a tidy up and get the place. I've got a visitor on Friday. I need to make sure the place is spick and span. Cheeseburger says, I heard Tom Drives on Radio WM this morning. It seems the prototypes are off to Gaydon. Yeah, people seem to be getting awfully excited over these things, and you know, that's fair enough, I suppose. If they want to get excited about some cars that have been somewhere for a long time and they've been moved slightly, and these people want them to go somewhere else, then I suppose that's fine. I mean, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, of all the things that you could get excited about and write emails about or write letters about or make a noise about, I would have thought that this was pretty well down on the list. But there you are. People are strange. Diddly-do, diddly-do. Good evening all, says Bad Book. Steve Culg is in our midst. Barry says, oh, you're leaning against an open door with me on this one. I'm more interested in knowing if someone has stuck a red-hot poker up Russell Brand's arse yet. And yeah, I'm on that page with you, mate. Neil is here, the Gibbinator, the one and only. Hello all, he opens, and he continues. Hope we are all well. How has everyone's day been? And it's kind of him to ask, so please, can you all pay him the courtesy of telling him how your day has been and go into explicit detail. If you had a tricky bowel movement, then tell him. He wants to know. He's that sort of caring person who genuinely wants to hear all of these details. So perhaps you over-trusted a fart. Perhaps you were taking your lunch to the lunch table, tripped over a sleeping badger, and threw your lunch all over the new carpet that was fitted by Mr. O'Reilly 3 days beforehand. Anything? Yep. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him, damn you. Cheeseburger says, Boaty, why do we have music? Have you murdered the neighbours? They're on holiday, Cheeseburger. The neighbours are on holiday, so when the cat's away, the mice will play. Hey chat and hey Boaty, says John. John is with us, and so is Ross, Dinosaur Dad, who says, good day all. Possibly not with that accent. Oh dear, John is full of cold and feels like crap. Sorry to hear that. And Neil, that's also a message for you. John would like you to know that he's full of cold and he feels like crap. Sophie has had a really good day. She and Neil cleaned the MG ZTT, and and Sophie did the inside of the car. Oh, and then they had Chinese takeaway. Well, don't leave us in suspenders. I mean, What did you have from the Chinese? We need to know this. We need to know this. Now, if I'd have been having Chinese takeaway tonight, I would have had, assuming that it's like a UK Chinese takeaway, not a proper one, not like a proper authentic restaurant or something, I would have had beef with ginger and spring onion and some rice. That's what I would have had. Do you know what I haven't had for ages and ages? And I don't mean like months, I mean probably 20 years, maybe even more. Somebody has just done a nice thing. And I can see it on that screen, but I can't see it on this screen. So I can't see what nice thing has been done, nor can I see who has done it. And that's annoying me. And it's still not showing up. So thank you to whoever's just done a nice thing, but I can't see the nice thing. And I would like to see the nice thing, and I would like to see who has done the nice thing. It'll probably pop up in a moment. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Chinese. Right. What I haven't had for, no, it's not 20 years. What am I talking about? Minge Monday. When Boo and I were courting, before we actually got engaged and moved in together and started a new life in Matlock, Bath, then I was living here at Windy Bum, and she was living in a dreadful place called Leicester. Not the best part of Leicester either, I can tell you that. Sorry, Boo, if you're watching. Well, you didn't like it either. That's why you wanted to leave and start a new life. But of course, Monday being my day off, I used to go and stay at Hodsall Hall on a Monday, and we had Minge Mondays where we used to order, Boo used to treat us all to a Chinese takeaway, and we call it Minge Mondays because it came from Minge Garden, or Ming Garden. I'd completely forgotten that the thing that I'm talking about is sweet and sour chicken, right? Not your Cantonese style sweet and sour chicken, which is about as Cantonese as my left bollock. I'm talking about the sweet and sour, the chicken balls in batter with that awful and yet wonderful sweet and sticky sauce that's actually a little bit better if you shove a load of white pepper in it to add a bit of spice. Now, when I was a child, or then once or twice a year, I would have that. But yeah, on Minge Mondays, there would be a portion of that ordered, and it would be like shared as a starter, and I'd have one or two balls, and I mean, they're a dreadful thing, of course, but they're actually fantastic. They're one of those dreadful things that are fantastic. And one of these nights, I would like to have some sweet and sour balls in my life, and the nice thing still hasn't popped up. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe nobody did a nice thing, but I'm sure it popped up on that screen there. Oh well. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm talking about now, so we'll go back to some comments. Are you going, asks Cheeseburger, to share your pie with Bernard? Well, Cheeseburger, I'll answer that honestly. I would share anything with Bernard. That's why I keep asking her to marry me. But it's jolly difficult to share things with her when she insists on being 100 miles away from me at all times. So Bernard would be welcome to share my pie. And afterwards, I'd like to have a go. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. Oh God, that's going back to Minge Mondays, isn't it? Oh dearie me. Skick says, I like those pies, but they give me heartburn. Right, okay, sorry to hear that, Skick. I mean, they are a fabulous thing. I've not had a Fray Bentos pie since college, says Bad Books, 30 odd years ago. And today I had salmon, jacket potato and vegetables. Oh, jolly good. Cheeseburger instructs John to keep his cold in Hales Owen. Oh, right, here we go. Barry's weighing in. A feeling of warmth and security. Well, if I can't say my family or friends here, I'll say my DVD and book collection and going to the gym. Okay, well, I'm not going to be going to the gym, but I will definitely give you your DVD and book collection. And I would echo the book collection. Yeah, having books around gives me a feeling of warmth, security, and history because I grew up with books. In the living room of the house that I grew up in, every wall, and there were four of them because it was a rectangular room, every room was shelved from floor's down there, isn't it? From floor to ceiling. And it was just, I mean, there were hundreds of thousands of books in that house. Fiction, non-fiction, Encyclopedia Britannica, Children's Britannica. We were a family of readers, and when I was a child, reading would be used as a disciplinary tool. I had something called minutes, and minutes were the length of time that I was allowed to read in bed with the light on. And if I misbehaved or was deemed to have misbehaved in any way, then my minutes were reduced. And that used to really hurt me because reading was my favourite thing ever. Indeed, reading taught me to walk. I was very late at walking and talking. This is true. You could ask my mother if she wasn't spending time being dead at the moment. I was very late with both. I used to mobilise as a child by crawling about because presumably I just couldn't be asked to walk. And neither did I talk much, which you might find difficult to believe now. I used to just make noises, and that must have been quite distressing for my parents in some ways. They might have worried about my mental capability. God knows they did when I was an adult. No, they didn't. That was a joke. And the way they got me to walk, which looking back must have been incredibly annoying. They took my book off me because I could read before I could walk and talk, right? And they took my book off me and put it on the other side of the room. And I had to crawl to get it. And that was too slow. So in the end, I started toddling to go and get my bloody book. And the talking thing, I can't remember what prompted me to talk. But most babies or children's first words are mama, dada, mum, dad, something like that. My first words, and this is absolutely 100% on my heart true. My first words were, could I have my breakfast now, please? Those were genuinely my first words. I made noises for years and years and years. And I guess my parents just stopped responding to the noises or pretending that they stopped just interpreting my noises and pretended they didn't know what I wanted. So eventually I had to talk. And obviously I could read really well. So obviously I was capable of using words, and my first words were, could I have my breakfast now, please? And that was one of my mother's dinner party stories. And yeah, I grew up around books and I grew up reading. As a child, I used to read 3 books per day, most days, whenever time allowed. I did so as an adult as well. And I remember that when my father was taken poor, and I went to public school. I was a public school boy. I went to a very good school called Christchurch, very expensive school. But then when my father was taken poor, I was hoiked out of the public school and sent to the secondary modern system in Redditch. And the school that I was sent to, they had a library system where you had the books had different coloured bands on them, which equated to reading abilities. And if you managed to work through all of the bands before you left school, you were put on what was called library, where you could just, you had free reign of the entire library. And when I entered that school, and they tested me to see which band to put me on, I was put straight onto library like 5 years before anybody was supposed to even think about getting there. That's just the way I was brought up. Reading has always been probably my ultimate pleasure. And yeah, I know you're going to talk about pottering, but reading's kind of on a different level. I suppose you could read about pottering, but that would be porn. And like I've said many times, I don't enjoy that really in any way, shape or form. So yeah, books, eh? We should do that one night, talk about our favourite books. We've probably done it before, and we'll probably do it again. Oh, Ben's here. Title, Frey Bentos. More of it? Yes, please, bro. We'll screenshot that. It is, of course, your job to give a title to the mainstream of this evening's symposium. Barry says, Matt at Furious Driving. Thank you. Matt at Furious Driving is selling his Rover 75. Just saying. Well, I don't know if you're just saying that in my direction, but it's not one I want to buy because it's a model I don't care for. It's the wrong colour. And given how Matt was talking about valuing it when he was doing the work on it, it's going to be way too expensive. And I don't want a Rover 75. I don't like them very much. The only way I could have a Rover 75 now would be if it was in contemporary trim. That's why I ended up getting rid of Henny and Sir Arnold. I just don't like that. I don't like that interior, which is weird, really. You'd think that I would. I mean, I'm a Rolls Royce man, but I just didn't like that interior. Now, I don't mind the ZT or the ZTT, and I could live with the 75 if it was in contemporary trim. But that one of Matt's, not for me. But it's a lovely car. I've seen it in the flesh, and if he hasn't already, I'm sure he'll find a lovely buyer for it. Oh, and Cheeseburger says he needs the money to repair the Crown Vic. He probably does, actually. Oh, and Ben says, evening, all of my fellow perfectly white botties. Quite right, too. Sophie says, what would keep me safe and comfortable is just putting the heating on, shutting the doors, and letting no one in. Oh, well. Yeah, I think we can all relate to that. Getting the curtains drawn and all of that. The internet gods have saved us, says Cheeseburger. Oh, that must have been when the internet got off. Oh, Jimmy, a sense of comfort from knowing I've got 6 months of supplies of food, just in case. Bloody hell, in case of what? Pingu says, today I've been moving cars around, planning the movement of an awkward box. Oh, I think I know what that relates to. Savoy and chips from the Chippy. Oh, the Savoy challenge. Well done. Savoy and chips from the Chippy for eatings. My self-built garage gives me security, and my toaster has 4 slots, but 2 are temperamental. Oh, and have you heard from Mike yet? No, and I forgot to ping him. I'll do it. Shall I do it now before I forget? Because you know I'll forget by the end of the thing. Hello, Mike. It's Jace.
Hi, Jace.
Are you okay, mate?
Yeah, Speed. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm just doing a live stream, and everybody's been wondering where you were, and they said I should.
You're on live stream now.
Yeah. And they're just worried about you, is all. And they said I should ring you and make sure that you're okay.
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. Yeah, sorry, I just had been up to my eyes, to be honest with you. I've just been really busy and just back and forth to the hospital and shit like that. Everything's okay, but I've just been up to my neck. My mechanic's off, and he's done his back in, so he's out of action for 2-3 months. So I'm on my own. So
No. All right, bless you. I'm glad everything's okay. Hang on just one sec. He's fine. Did you hear that? He's okay. You can stop worrying. He's just really, really, really busy. All right? So glad we checked.
Tell him thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers, Jace.
All right, mate. I'll catch you later, mate.
I'll try to call you next week, probably, I will.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, mate. Thanks for calling, mate.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
There we go, darlings. He's fine. I don't know if you heard that. Where did I get to? Oh, right, yeah. Bad books. Kids asking penny for the guy outside the shop on Monday night while staying over at Hartlepool. Penny for the guy? It's fucking October. And it's barely October at that. Dear, oh dear. Oh, and Cheeseburger asked him, do they still hang monkeys up there? Oh, God. Oh, dear. And how's Joe? Asked Cheeseburger. Which Joe? Oh, Joe as in Joseph. Okay. Joe, he's still with us. He's still being very brave. Now, today he was officially transferred from whichever department were looking after him. He's been officially transferred to the hospice care department, which, as I'm sure you all know, basically means palliative care. And, it means it's awful to say it, but it means kind of the last lap, doesn't it? So he's, God, I don't know about all of this. And I guess you wouldn't know until you were in that situation. Do you? I'm sure if it's you, then all you want to do is to live until things become such that, oh God, it's really difficult to talk about, isn't it? But what do you wish for somebody? Do you wish that they hang on and eke out as much time as possible? Or do you wish for a swift and painless end? It really resonates with me personally. I can't remember if I've spoken about this before. I probably have. But my mother had a life-limiting condition. And my mother, as many of you know, was my best friend. Not a single day went through our lives, wherever we were in the world, we always contacted each other every day. And we were genuinely best friends. We would holiday together. We would. She was my best friend in the world, and she didn't want the indignity of a long, drawn-out death or even retirement. She didn't want to leave work, and she became obsessed with going to, Zurich, Switzerland, and Dignitas, and doing it that way. And it's the only time we ever fell out, because it was very important to her that I was on board with it, and I took her and I was there with her. And I couldn't do it. I refused to do it. I have spoken about this before, haven't I? And it's the only thing in our lives that we ever fell out about. And I wonder to this day whether I was being selfish, as she said that I was. And I've spoken about how the last year's played out, and I'm pretty comfortable in that, as it turned out, I did the right thing. But if things hadn't have gone that way, then I might not have done the right thing. And it's a really difficult situation. But going back to Joe, that is the situation with Joe. He's He's being looked after. He's getting love and support, as I understand it. He and his wife are getting the financial support from friends and so on and so on and so on. And yeah, he's now under hospice care. He's saying he needs his medications upping, so I'm guessing he's in some pain. And the way that these things normally go is that it's kind of the medication that sees you off as much as anything else. I mean, once you're on a morphine driver, then that's it. And you know, the way that it works, in probably the kindest way, is that the morphine takes you before the underlying condition does, and you just drift away painlessly, hopefully. But yeah, that's the situation on Joe Cheeseburger and anybody else who wonders. It was Jimmy Quinn who did a nice thing. He sent a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, Jimmy. And oh, Mike has jumped on, bless him, and Mike's done a £5 super chat. You didn't have to do that, Mike, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you. We just, you know, we hadn't heard from you for a while, and we were just talking about you and thinking about you and hoping you were okay. And I'm glad to hear you are. So, and thank you very much for that. Sophie said, oh, right, Sophie and Chinese takeaway. We had chips and Singapore chow mein and Chinese special curry. Oh, how exotic. Oh, and ribs with Peking sauce. Oh, gosh. Right, okay. Well, that's football and Hartlepool. Pingu asks, do you fancy doing a less than 55-mile delivery to a very lovely lady called Mandy? I don't know. Delivering what? Not, oh, God, not the bloody caravan. Is it? Depends what I'm delivering. Well, I suppose if it was the caravan, it could be a laugh. I've still never towed one, so that would be a baptism of fire, wouldn't it? Or maybe she wants some momos, and momos are available at a very reasonable price, and jolly nice they are too. Oh, my friend Steve is here, Ollie Owl. Second haircut of the year, yes. I seem to have missed so much being away on holiday. How long have you been away for? 3 months, bloody hell. Our PE teacher, oh, right. This is Bad Books. Our PE teacher played at pools under Cloughie. They've been talking about Brian Clough. If he was annoyed with the player, he made them walk his dog rather than train. Afternoon, oh gaseous one, says Stephen S. Paul, and the rest of you. Cloughie was unique, says Cheeseburger. And Skick says, I have recently watched the Happy Rotter films on Netflix. Not really my thing, but really well put together. Now then, Happy Rotter. I don't think I've seen the film, but, and this might surprise you, I have read the original book. Now, it was in the very early days when I was courting Lisa. Now, Lisa was the lady who lived just outside Exeter. And I, of course, was living in Cook Hill at the time and had the car showrooms and whatnot. And in the early days, before we officially lived together and got engaged and booked the wedding and all of that sort of shenanigans, I was in her lovely cottage, which was an old post office with a thatched roof in a little village called Rockbeer, right by Exeter Airport. And I didn't have any books, and I was desperate for a book. I was in the bathroom, and I think Lisa had gone to bed early, and the kids were in bed, and I needed a book. And the original Happy Rotter book was in the bathroom. So while I was sitting there on the throne, enjoying myself, grunting and sweating slightly, I started reading it. And I didn't stop. I mean, I got off the loo and I went downstairs and I read the book in one sitting, and it wasn't too bad, as I recall, although I never read another one. Stephen S. Paul says, Boaty's favourite book, Lady Chatterley's Lover. Do you know I've never read that? Pingu says, demanding a free breakfast from the beginning. What's that? A title for the live stream? You've lost me a bit with that one. We know where Mike is, says Cheeseburger. He's having a week away with Matt and Simon. Oh, are they away? Cheeseburger says, if he rang me at 11:30, I'd tell him to feck right off. Yeah, well, I wouldn't normally do it with people, but this is Mike, innit? And he thought nothing of ringing me 64,000 times while I was live streaming and trying to bugger it up. So, yeah, a little bit of revenge there. I was just going to ping him, but then I thought it'd be fun to ring him. I didn't expect him to answer, to be honest. Oh, good, says Pingu. The tosser is just really busy. Oh, and here's Mike himself. I'm all good, guys. Thanks for asking. Prayers for Joseph, says Cheeseburger. Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? What else can you do? I mean, when you can't offer any practical help or support, then, you know, what can you do? I mean, you could try spiritual help if they were into that sort of thing, but yeah. I mean, you know, it's the old thoughts and prayers thing that's a bit of a throwaway thing, but sometimes what else can you do? I don't know. A lot of people believe in the power of positivity and positive thoughts and whatnot, and, you know, he knows that we are thinking about him. I've told him so, and he appreciates that. And I guess at times like that, it's nice to feel not so alone, that, you know, that you've made some sort of a difference outside of the four walls that you find yourself ending your time in and turning towards in the last moment. Gosh, what a thing to talk about or think about. People tend to be very unwilling or uncomfortable talking about something that we are all going to face, both ourselves and with those around us. And yet it's, you know, it's like a taboo subject, isn't it? I feel awkward just talking about this. Diddly-doo. Oh, and everybody's 2 near-death experiences under my belt. There's nothing to worry about, says Stephen S. Paul. Everybody just saying hello to Mike. Oh, hello. Carlos Fandango's super wide wheel says, goodness me, only not quite in so many words. What time did you start? 11 o'clock, normal time. Well, 10 on Mondays, and then 11 o'clock the rest of the night. Cheeseburger says, Stephen, nothing to worry about. Have you been in a car with Boaty? Sophie says, oh, well, I would like to say you have us, Boaty, and we all love you. Oh, bless you. And you know that we're here if you need to. Oh, bless you, Sophie, if you need anything. That's really kind. Cheeseburger says, Mike, was the fiver to stop him calling? Yeah, probably. Yes, of course it is, says Mike. Video title, here's a fiver now, don't call back. And that's from Cheeseburger, and I like that one. I'm off. Good night, Jason. Good night, humans. Be nice. Thanks for thinking about me. So that's Mike. Good night, Mike. You've probably already gone, and it sounds like you must be knackered. Your mechanic off and all this, that, and the other going on. I'm glad we checked in with Mike, though. We should do that sort of thing. We should all check in with each other much more often. If you haven't heard from somebody for a while, give them a ring or a ping and just say, hi, how you getting on? A bit like I do with Bernard. You know, it doesn't matter if we haven't spoken that day or even that week. I will still, after a bottle of wine, send her a nice little message saying, why don't you marry me, you bitch? Oh dear. I'm looking forward to supper. Lunch was very disappointing. Really was. Now then. Where was I? Right. Barry met Brian Clough as a kid and got his autograph. He was a good man. Cheeseburger says, I hear the conversation. Lisa, do you fancy an early night? Boaty, have you got a good book? Oh dear. You see, now the thing with Lisa was, I shouldn't talk about this sort of thing, it's hideously indiscreet. Lisa was in her prime, absolutely in her prime, and I was a lot closer to my prime than than I am now, or than I have been recently. And oh, we were lethal. We were absolutely lethal. We couldn't get through we couldn't manage about 4 hours without knocking spots off each other. God almighty, any number of trains, all of the cars, aeroplanes, several wine bars, restaurants, we just couldn't keep our hands off each other. It was, I mean, there was an incredible attraction between us as well, and that helps. But yeah, we were kind of both in our primes. If I had to pick a period in my life where there was peak pottering, that would probably be it. And especially in Cyprus, the heat got to me. God almighty, there were some nights where we literally didn't sleep. Right through the night. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, Skick might try the Lord of the Rings films. Just read the book, Skick. Books are always better than films. The power of positivity, asked Cheeseburger. Try supporting Hartlepool or West Brom. Well, I mean, that's football. Who cares about football? And they're still talking about football. So, I have reached the end of the comments. So, I've done jolly well there, and I can be very proud of myself. We've rang Mike. Who else can we ring and annoy? Shall I ring Mustard? What's coming up tomorrow? Oh, video title. Trains, planes and automobiles. Grease is the word. That's quite clever, actually. Tomorrow. Oh, I took Miss Boo to work tonight and I enjoyed that very much. And there's going to be a trip with Miss Boo to Stoke-on-Trent, where I've got to, where I'm very excited to pick up a genuine Land Rover roof box that Neil very, very kindly found for me. And I need to reply to his message about it. I've got lots of messages to reply to. Chris, who is over from Australia, my best friend from school, he's setting up a thing with us. And, oh God, I haven't replied to that yet. Joseph, Mr. Lloyd, messaged me, God, about 3 days ago about what we're going to do on Friday, because he's coming up to see me. And I've only just replied to that literally 5 minutes before the bloody live stream started. Oh, I'm so terrible with messages and mails and answering phone calls and things. Honestly, I mean, if you need to speak to me about something, wait until I do a live stream and put it then, because then I'll actually answer you. I don't do it deliberately. I'm not rude. I just forget. I get lots of messages and things, and I'm just, oh, I try to be assiduous and reply to things, and I never do it. And then suddenly I think, I never replied to that message, I must do it now. And you look at it, and it's like 6 months old, and they're no longer friends with you because they think you've blanked them and sent them to Coventry or Daventry. Feature number 17, would you rather be sent to Coventry or Daventry? And when you think about it, only 2 letters different, and yet I bet they're very different places. I've never been to Daventry, so I can't comment. Diddly-doo. £5 ring mustard, says Neil. Okay. Mustard. Here we go. Hello, are you well?
Yes, I am.
I'm really sorry to disturb you at this time of night. It's just... Sorry?
Go on.
It's just that I'm doing a live stream and somebody offered me £5 if I rang you to annoy you. I apologies for the language there, darlings. I just rang Mike before you. But there we are. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Good.
So, fuck off, please.
I'll see you later. There we go. That was Captain Mustard appearing live. Have you decided on prices for the cars yet? Some of them, Skip, yeah. The ones that are advertised, they've all got a price on them. So says, do you know my comment about the question you ask? Diddly-do. Oh, right, yes, okay. Oh, you heard it, Neil. You heard him. Maybe this is going to be a new feature, ringing people up and annoying them. Who used to do that? Somebody used to do that on telly. Was it James Whale? That guy who looked like, I don't know, he had a weird face, didn't he? He had like a rectangular face and wore glasses. And he had a beard. Oh dear. Oh yeah, Sophie's saying that the ZTT makes her feel safe and warm. That's nice. The beige bomber is visiting, says Cheeseburger. Impromptu live. Don't rule it out. Could happen. Neil just shit me up. Oh my God, and I jumped a mile and laughed and cried at the same time. That was Sophie again. Are you going to feed Mr. Lloyd? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing yet. Possibly. I'm not sure if he's coming here or if we're going to meet for lunch somewhere or what we're going to do, because I'm really bad at replying to messages. But I'm very much looking forward to it, whatever it is, because I really like him. He's a very nice chap and very knowledgeable. Oh dear. Video title, Boaty's Telethon, minimum donation £5. Where do they advertise, Askik? Facebook Marketplace. Title, Boaty annoys people for money. And Cheeseburger says, Carlos, it's prostitution. Oh God, does he? Oh dear. Oh, apparently James Whale isn't very well. Oh gosh. I mean, what should really be in the title is the daft word that I can't say, and which I'll probably get demonetized for. Oh dear, that was fun. That was fun. Which cars are you interested in, Skick? I know you've asked about the 623 a lot, and we don't have a price on the 623 because, and it's a good job we didn't put a price on it, because it's going to be more expensive to sort it than we originally thought. And we still don't know how expensive, because you'll have seen from Mustard's video that the problem is a little bit deeper than we originally envisaged. But if you're genuinely interested, talk to us about it. We'll come to a deal with you. We'll come to a deal with you, and it would be a better deal than the car would be advertised for. Because bear in mind that when we advertise a car for sale, we're advertising it to anybody out there. And we tend to put the price up a little bit to put off people that we know are going to be bad owners. So if any of you lot are interested in a car, then just talk to us. Talk to us and we'll do our jolly best to sort something out. Oh God, they're still talking about football, I think. Oh, right, yeah, they are. Oh well, there we are. Well, it's almost time to go, darling, so we'd better start saying our good nights, I suppose. I will, of course, be back, same place, same time tomorrow, 11 o'clock, here. What else was I going to tell you? Gosh, I think I've told you everything. I had a wonderful time in Miss Boo tonight. It was a joy to take her. Oh yeah, there's going to be a roof box coming. I really do. I love Miss Boo, and I keep forgetting just how much I love her. And one of these days, I mentioned this in the diary video, one of these days, Miss Boo, because I don't like things to be on their own. I don't like to, you know, I think things need company. People need company. Things need company. And I've only got one Land Rover. And one day, when I grow up and get a proper job, and I'm really successful and I've got disposable income and stuff like that, I'm going to have a Discovery 3. It'll be about a 2005. It'll be in HSE trim. And that and Miss Boo will make a very lovely pair. He did, Sophie, and I said, thank you very much. I did say, well, maybe I didn't exactly say it, but I said, oh, Neil, because on the, I mean, Neil did a £5 super chat, bless him, for the mustard call. And he actually, the message on it was daft word that I can't say. So he obviously heard what Mustard said. And then he told me to F off. Thanks, Boaty. Anything goes Thursday. Yeah, you're welcome, Cheeseburger, by the way. And thank you all for being here. Tomorrow is Anything Goes Thursday. So put your thinking caps on. We can talk about anything, do anything you care to know, any weirdness. Throw it at me tomorrow night and we will go with it. And oh, this is sad. Pingu says, Mr. George Roger Boaty is now available for sale as Mustard needs a space. Half price to any Boaty regular. Yeah, Mustard is insisting that we shift the caravan. And I'm really, really sad about that because it's a fun thing to have. But also, winter's about to kick in. And I remember last winter turning up on Mondays at the yard and being thoroughly bloody miserable. The pair of us huddling in a car for warmth because we'd lost feeling in our feet and there was nowhere to comfortably eat our lunch and all of that sort of thing. And I thought, well, at least this way, and that's why I thought we wanted the caravan. And I thought at least this winter, we can be safe and snug, get the old cooker on in the caravan. make some food or at least warm the place up and have somewhere that's safe and dry. And he's insisting that the caravan goes. And what it basically means is that for a certain period of winter, I'm not going to be at the yard because I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing those days where I slog over there and spend the entire day freezing my tits off, not having any feeling in my feet. Bloody, oh, it's just miserable. Bloody miserable. So, yeah. Put the caravan outside Windy Bottom with the rest of the stock. It was suggested. It was suggested. So, yeah, I'm really, really sad. I thought that Roger Boaty should go down where the SD1 is, down past the bog, and it should be permanently placed down there, plugged into the electricity, and we should set it up as a permanent thing for us and for visitors and for warmth and for winter. But no, apparently there is no room at the inn. Roger Boaty has to go. So, one of two things is going to happen. Either there are going to be quite a few Mondays over winter where I just don't bloody go, so I don't want to spend my Mondays. I mean, last winter, God almighty, look back on the videos. I drove through some really dodgy conditions to get to the yard. There are, some really, I'm going right over the tops of the peaks. And so I did that, risking God knows what, to spend the day absolutely freezing my tits off, and I don't want to do it. If the caravan was there, then yeah. So either I'm not going to be going some days this winter, some Mondays, or I need to sell the cars and buy a bloody camper van so I can turn up in that. And that's where we can have lunch and whatnot. Actually, I quite fancy doing that. I would love it. I'm still obsessed by this van life thing. And it's still my plan. If it ever goes tits up here at Windy Bum, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do van life and end my days mobile, living in a bloody Ford Transit Connect or something like that. Unless I get really rich, in which case it'll be a Leyland National, a 1977 Leyland National that I'll turn into a mobile shithouse. Oh dear. Boaty, get some bloody cars sold, then Mustard will have space to keep the caravan over winter. He's got space. I mean, the idea is that the spaces get turned over. So if we sell a car, then we're going to replace that space with, it won't be a space, there'll be another car. I mean, it seems a bit, well, I mean, it's his yard and it's his choice, but, you know, when there's bloody cars that have sat there for over a year with the owners not picking them up, that aren't paying any rent and that aren't going to sell and aren't ever going to be worth anything, surely you'd get rid of them before you'd get rid of something that gave you and your visitors a bit of warmth and dryness during what's probably going to be a horrible winter. But there we go. What do I know? That landlord wants Mustard out of there. Sorry, but I think it's true. It's got nothing to do with the landlord. It's put George Roger Boaty on the hard standing at the top of your garden. Oh, Rover Joe's turned up now. 5 minutes after I should have gone. Hello, Joe. How are you, mate? Oh, and now Pingu's trying to flog him a caravan. Let's all demonetize Mustard until Roger Boaty stays. Oh, hello, Simone's here now. Why are you all turning up when I'm just about to go? I shall really miss Roger Boaty. I shall really, really miss him. And yeah, and I shall miss the idea of that little haven of warmth and comfort in the yard. I mean, Mustard's quite right, really. I mean, every space in what's not a big yard should be a paying space. I just think that it's a bit harsh to to shift Roger Boaty when there are other. Well, then, anyway, there we are. It is what it is. when the weather's really, really bad and it's too cold to go to the yard, I'll go to the nice hotel in Rill instead. It never, you know, it's never that cold by the seaside because sea. Oh, good, right. Okay, darlings, I am going to go. Oh, God, cheeseburger. All right, darlings, thank you so much for... Oh, I've got to fart you out, haven't I? Neighbours aren't here. I was forgetting. Hang on. Right, here we go. Hold on, 1 second. I'm very badly organised again. That's the one, isn't it? There we go, just right. Good night, everybody. You're going and I just got here. I know, but it's that time. And diddly-do. Where did I just see that? Oh, is Pingu the secret banker, I wondered? No, Pingu was and is the not-so-secret banker. All right, darlings, thank you so much for your company. I've really enjoyed tonight. Take great care of yourselves. Have a safe and peaceful night. I hope you sleep well. And I will see you 11 o'clock tomorrow for Anything Goes Thursdays. All right, darlings, much love and bye-bye.